Luke, obviously, it was an amazing game. It was 1-0. What do you make of that incredible goal from Sonny? We're just going to go in there straight away, head first.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I don't think in the first half he took his chances, really, to be honest. He had a few times when he was through on goal or at least one-on-one with Nathan Ake and really didn't make the most of it, in my opinion. Came back a couple of times, but in the second half, obviously, he was pushed on to, try and go for goal at least. And he did say after the game that it was a lucky goal. And I think he said the same against Burnley when he scored that incredible goal where he ran from our own box. So you can never trust what Son says. He's always, a little bit modest, isn't he? But just an incredible goal. That's the thing that surely City should have worked on, because that's classic Heung-min Son, cut in and try and bend the ball into the far corner. But it was a brilliant goal and a brilliant performance from every single Spurs player, to be quite honest.
It was phenomenal. And I think that's the thing we've been missing. We've lost a lot of passion, I think, in this team. And yesterday there was fight all across the park. So Tans, I come to you. Obviously, we've got this massive talk about Harry Kane, and I've seen someone ask in the chat already about, did you guys miss Kane yesterday? Now, I kind of want to put a spin on it. Obviously, people are calling for Sonny to be the next striker. But even that goal yesterday came from a wide position and he cut in, and he wasn't in a central position to start with. So that being said, Tans, do you think we need Sonny as a striker, or would you still like someone new to come in if Kane does decide to leave?
No, I think we do still need a striker, because there were moments in that game where we lacked that vocal point. I don't think that's Son's game. I think Son could be a bit isolated, especially when we're hoofing balls over the top. That's not Son. So I do think we still need to look towards getting a striker, because, as much as I love Son, I just don't think it's enough. Because I was even thinking, there was a moment where he was on the floor, I was thinking, oh my God, we're going to have that same thing we have with Kane. When Kane's on the floor, we're like, what are we going to do when Kane gets injured? So if Son gets injured now, God blimey, I don't know what we're going to do. So we definitely need to get a striker in 100%. But agree with what Luke said. It was a brilliant goal from Son. It was a bit frustrating, though, in the first 15 minutes. I felt he was lacking that clinical edge in the final third, but overall he's our star boy, isn't he? You could just always rely on him in those moments. Most of the time, 8 times out of 10 he's going to score. But yeah, I don't know if we can say that we do better without Harry Kane, but we didn't miss him yesterday, which is
it's always the case. It's always the case with us in the first 15. We just take so long. I think regardless of the manager, regardless of the 11 on the pitch, we take so long to get into games. But yesterday, I guess we held our own.
We did, and that's the thing. Like you guys said, I mean, obviously, I kind of missed the first 20 minutes because I was on the way back from football myself. But I think they were the hairiest 20 minutes of the whole game. So luckily, I managed to leave that, because I think I would have gone grey again if I watched that. But nevertheless, I mean, obviously, we've spoken about Sonny, and his goal was phenomenal. But Forms, I ask you, another player that I thought really stood out yesterday and tends to get a lot of backlash from Spurs fans now and again is Lucas Moura. And I think he played himself off the park yesterday. So Forms, hit it away. What do you make of Lucas Moura?
I think, and I feel like there's like a communal feeling with Spurs fans that this year is the year where Lucas Moura just peaks and has his best season ever. I watched every preseason game and just watched. Obviously, he's got that energy about him, and he gives 110% all the time. But I don't know what's different this season. It's like when he's on the ball, there's no one's getting near him. He will make his way past whoever he needs to make his way past, and he's bringing that. I think, what is he? He's just turned 29 or something. He's now bringing that extra level of experience in a relatively young side, and he's bringing that confidence. He's bringing that energy, and that's what we need. I really, really think that he's going to be very important to us this year. And I also like the fact that he's obviously a Portuguese speaker. Nuno's a Portuguese speaker. So there's a bit of a connection there as well. I'm very excited for Magic Moura to come to life.
Yes, I love that. I love it.
That is good. And that's the thing, I think, obviously what Kevin said here, I mean, Lucas has played better when he's got a bit more freedom. And obviously, I know we're still talking about Kane and I'm getting bored of it now, but it was shown yesterday, wasn't it, Tans? He had a lot more freedom to just kind of do what he wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Moura is one of those players, though. Sometimes I feel like he's a bit of a headless chicken at times. He's just doing a lot of running, and I feel like the end product isn't always there. But I feel like what, he was just saying there about Lucas in pre-season, I think he's looked really sharp. I feel like he's playing a lot more with his head up and his work rate. Like, no one could question this guy's work rate. Like, it's not a Lamella type thing. Like, this guy can just run and run and run, press and press and press. And yeah, I thought he was arguably the man of the match yesterday. It was a close call between him and Tanganga, which I know we'll probably get onto him because, wow, oh my God.
In Paris, they used to call him the equivalent of the M25 because he used to just run and run and run forever in his circles and just didn't stop. And I think that was probably because PSG had such star men. Who did they have at the time? They had Zlatan and they had that lot. So there was attention that was taken off of Lucas, and he didn't really have that much freedom. He was so isolated on the wing. Whereas, all right, without Kane, he's got so much more freedom. He can cut in more. He can be a little bit more creative. And I understand that Harry Kane is our star man and has been for years. But at the same time, look, we got to the Champions League final without Kane. We've beaten City however many times we've beaten them without Kane. It's almost as if when Kane plays, the entire structure of the team and all of the plays and everything like that is based around Harry Kane and his ability. And it prevents certain players from shining in the way that they need to shine.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. One thing on Lucas Moura quickly is I do like him on the right-hand side, but I also think he could play in the middle behind the striker if we needed him to. He can play pretty much, across that the two wings and behind the striker. He can play pretty much anywhere. And I think he's had a bad rep, in a sense, at Spurs, Lucas Moura, because he's never been that bad for us. And he always seems to show a lot of passion for Spurs. He seems to love playing for us. And so I think, it will be really, really good to see him finally kind of, come into his all and really, really shine. Because as you say, PSG was absolutely sensational when we signed him. Just felt like it just feels like we kind of just held him back a little bit. Now it seems like he's got that freedom to be able to just turn the pace on when he needs to, turn a bit of skill if he does, if he wants to. So it's going to be enjoyable to watch, hopefully.